Welcome back to another video. In this one I want to talk about the templates within the project and essentially get the project set up to be able to render just a single custom template, and that's just going to be a HTML template. And because we're going to be using Angular, it just means that we're only going to have one HTML file, which essentially everything is going to be loaded inside of. Even though it's not a very complicated Angular application, it always tends to have one HTML file that is sort of sent to the browser, and then it sort of looks as if it's more than one page in some cases, but in our case it's just going to be a very simple application, so it's just going to be all on one page anyway. So with that said, I'm just going to create a templates folder. So make directory -p. I'm going to say templates / to do. So the -p flag just means create a parent directory, which means the to do folder is going to be inside of templates. And if we cd inside of that, then I want to create an index.html. So I can open this in my editor of choice. You can use what you want, and I tend to use Vim because it's a bit quicker. But here we can see that we have a to-do folder, and so inside that I'm just going to go ahead and create a new file, and I'm going to call it index.html. And I think I'm going to put just a head tag, so just to do something really nice and quickly, and I'm just going to say to-do list. So that will show us if the template is working or not, and then we can of course come back later and fill this in properly as and when we need to. Now at the moment, because we've got templates / to do, we have a template but we don't have a URL to point to that yet. So I need to go into my URLs file, which I can go into if I come back out of the templates directory, and if we have a look in, I think, to do, there is a URLs file already. So I mean, at this point I could create a new Django app, but for the sake of keeping things simple, and really the fact that because I know the sort of final outcome of this project is going to be relatively little code, I'm actually not going to bother creating another Django app just for this. Instead I'm just going to use the existing URLs file. So to do that I'm going to, well, I might as well open this project in Atom, so at the top level directory, and then that should give us a bit more of a clear structure of the project. So now we've got to do, if we go to URLs like I was saying, we can see down here we have one for the admin at the moment. What I can also do is I can define another one, and I can say let's just do what is essentially going to be a home page. So it's just going to start and stop, and this is going to use what's called a Django generic view, which is going to be a simple view that just allows me to render a template. Now it's actually quite appropriately named because it's called template view. So let's go ahead and import that from Django.views.generic, import template view, and then if we come down here I can use that, so I can say template view.as view, and then I can pass the name of the template. So template name is going to be equal to, in this case it's going to be to do / index.html. So I'm assuming that Django is going to pick up this templates folder here. We can double check that in a second. If it doesn't, then we'll need to change what it actually looks for as the templates in the settings. So we can do Django admin run server to see what we've got at the moment. And so we don't have our migrations applied, we haven't set up the database in other words, so I'm going to leave that for now. But if we go back, we should be able to see, so it doesn't find the template. And so the reason for that is it seems to be looking in these locations, and so it's just currently not looking in the place that we've specified our template. So the easy solution to that is if you go to settings. In fact, because this settings file is a little bit messy at the moment with all these comments, I'm actually going to use Vim to remove it, just because it's something I'm more familiar with. I'm just going to open the settings, and all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to remove all the comments and all the blank lines that we don't want. So now in my settings you can see that Atom's automatically updated because I wrote the file to the disk, and I'm just going to get rid of the top as well. So I haven't actually changed any of the settings, I've just gotten rid of all the stuff that we don't actually need, so the blank lines and the hash comments, and now you can see that doc string I removed as well. Now what I'm going to do in the settings, just to make sure that Django is aware of the templates folder in the project folder itself, because normally this would be a separate Django app which Django automatically looks for templates within, but because the actual project app, which we're just using as the contents for our entire project, we have a templates folder here which isn't necessarily conventional in Django, which means that you need to state in the DIRS key here in the templates setting that I want to look in the templates folder, and I would specify to do here as well, but instead what I've done is I've specified that in the template name. If we go back to the URLs, you can see it says template name equals to-do/index. So if I were to put template/to-do, of course I'd be repeating it. So now you can see the Django server is just updated, and if I refresh this, you can see we've now got a template rendering. Let's carry on with that then in the next video.